everybody, this is Mr. Blackstone coming to you live, and I'm getting a goddamn fucking echo. Turn this off. Here we go. Okay, sorry, I was just getting a fucking echo, so I had to turn my fucking volume off. Unfortunately, some shit just ain't user fucking friendly. You have to fucking jump through a million fucking hoops to do something. So anyway, today is build day number 12. And what I'm doing today is I'm going to be doing same thing I did yesterday, try and take over the world. I wish I did succeed because I'm at it again today. Yeah, well, I love that show, Pinky and the Brain. So what I'm doing is for the neck, or for the headstock, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to add an orange tinge to the varnish. Now, one thing that you should always do before when you do shit like this, get a block of wood and you do a test. And so I'm just going to do a test to make sure that that I mixed it right and it's going to have the desired coloring. And yes, that is exactly what I'm looking for. So I didn't even measure, and this is like just the first dump, so I think I did pretty fucking good. I don't know, I kind of have a natural knack for shit like this. I don't know why, or how it fucking works, but hey, I'm not gonna complain about it. Nobody's complaining. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to get my guitar and I'm going to things. Now, normally you would not, if you're going to, normally if you're going to do layering and coats, you're not going to add a colored varnish, because with each coat it's going to get darker and darker and darker. But the headstock is a bit light on the coloring, so instead of sanding the whole things down and redoing it, I'm doing it this way. So it's a little bit of things. So today all I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be doing the super exciting work today of sanding and varnish again. So without further ado, I should get my instrument and set everything up here. So y'all can see what I'm doing. So bring my box. I could have gotten rid of the box, but I didn't. Just for this because of this. So yeah. And so, oh yeah, and I also have a little secret for when yeah, you guys want to see what I'm doing. I know it's rude of me. So yeah, so I got a little secret. What I'm gonna do, and I'm gonna show it to y'all when it's time to do it. Alright, so let's take a look at what she looks like now. She is looking like a guitar. Definitely looking like a guitar. For some reason or another, the back has turned out a lot nicer. Yeah. A lot nicer. Yeah, look at that. Look at that. I don't know. I don't think I'm going to need to put another coat on it, actually. I think one more coat. Yeah, yeah. I'm just gonna do one more coat, and that's it. I mean, after this last coat, so what I'm going to do is a little bit of a sanding, and tomorrow I've got some really, really good sandpaper coming in. But what I'm going to do is, because this is going to be the last coat, is I'm going to allow this to set for about 3-4 days. I think that's my best option. Wow. No, I should be going the other way. Because when I did this the last time, I went with the grain yesterday. So this time I'm going to kind of go against the grain. If I do put another coat on, I'm probably just going to do the headstock. I do have a run somewhere that needs a little bit higher of a grit. There we go. All right, so that's finished. Yeah, so that's really all I'm going to, maybe, yeah, I can move back here a bit more. Yeah, so let's, let me see if I can just, I wish I could, oh, I know what I can do, because, yeah, I just had an idea. Put my guitar up just a little bit higher. Ah, cool. Cool, 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 cool. I like that. There. Now, you guys gonna be able to see me and see the guitar at the same time. So that's, yeah. Wow, that's fucking nice. I don't think I'm gonna have to, one more coat of varnish, and this is done. This is gonna be done, like one last coat. That's all I'm gonna need. It's just one more coat, and that's it. Yeah, I mean it has really. So I do have a run here, but I need to use a higher grade sandpaper here. Just get rid of that. Send that over. I'm using a higher grit for I have to use to get rid of that run. No big deal. Alright. like the sound of that. Yeah, so I've got some good sandpaper coming in on tomorrow, so I'm gonna have some I'm gonna have I'm gonna have like 10,000 grit sandpaper. So somebody suggested 15, but you know, I should be going to different, way. I'm just so used to sanding with the grain. This is just kind of like a yeah, one more coat and that's it. That's all it's going to need is just one more coat. And when I get the hardware on her, I don't know, I may not even need to put another coat on. I'm really pleased with this. Like that's, I want to take a look at it in the sunlight. Yeah, just one more coat and that's it. One more coat. That's all she needs is just one last final coat. 3 coats is gonna be enough. Well, that's good news. That's really good news. It's you know. So I won't be here tomorrow streaming, so because I'm going to allow the final coat quite a few days for it to Yeah, that's nice. Look, you can even looking at the reflection. Hey, how are you? So I was going to do 4 coats of varnish. So I'm doing my varnishing right now. This is the so far I've done the second coat. So I don't think I'm going to need to do any more than 4 coats. If you look at that, I mean, like that's like it's got the gloss. So so and I have some. So I'm going to allow it to set after I do this last coat. I'll allow it to set for, I'm probably saying about 4 days, and then and then I'll just do the buffing and all that kind of stuff. I got some 10,000 grit sandpaper coming in tomorrow, so that should be good. And you're gonna you're gonna love it when I do my well, everybody's gonna love this. Uh, what I'm going to do, how I'm going to get the hardware through the electronics through these little holes. I got a good one. I know how I'm going to do it, and it ain't going to be using a string. I gotta wait doing it, and it's gonna be. I'm not gonna tell you all right now. I'll wait till I'm at that step to do that. You're gonna fucking laugh. Everybody's gonna. It's gonna be a laugh. I don't even think that Manny would be able to come up with something this ingenious. Everything that's made has more than one purpose. Hey, how are you, real alien space bits? Thanks for joining. I guess it's official. We have a party now. So I'm just doing a bit of light sanding and putting on the final coat. Uh, yeah, it's not gonna need any more than 3 coats. I'm using, and then I'm gonna have to wait for 1, 2, 3. I'm gonna wait for 4 days to allow the varnish to really hard set. This is the varnish I'm using. That's a clear gloss varnish. I don't know if you can read that, but so it's that. So yeah, that's the stuff I'm using. Doing carpentry and building cabinets and stuff like that, that's the stuff we use. Not this particular brand name, but the same thing. And it takes a good week for it to really harden. It's still a bit tacky. Like after 24 hours, it is tacky, but you can still work with it. So, yeah. So, but when you're actually going to do like a finishing sanding, because you're going to be putting lots of pressure on it, you want it to harden up. So you want to give it at least a week for it to do its job. And so yeah, and when I put the electronics in, it's going to be funny how I'm going to get the pods through the holes. But I'm not gonna spoil the surprise. You'll have to watch. You'll have to watch and see what I'm using. Yeah. But yeah, it's the question is she's gonna look nice, but what is she gonna sound like? It's that's the pervading question. Uh, yeah, yeah. I gotta this coat I gotta be extremely careful on because I can't have any runs. With each coat, it gets less and less forgiving. What I'm thinking, I might just add some more orange to the varnish for the last coat, just to kind of give it almost like a translucent feel. Normally, you'd want to put a clear varnish on and not have any coloring, but if I add just a little bit of more orange to it, if I add some orange to it, all the red's going to pop out with a nice tinge. The orange parts are just going to they're just going to be brought right out to it's actually going to brighten. It's going to brighten it. And for a final coat, it would actually make sense to do that. I haven't decided whether I'm going to actually go through with it or not. Now you might see on the body where it looks like there's streaks, or where there's runs, like there's white spots. That's actually grain. That's the grain pattern. So if I put, because the grain, it didn't sink in the pattern, but it, so it's kind of like popping the grain out with a little bit of orange, a very, very small amount of orange. That's going to give it a blended look. So I know for the headstock, I'm going to do that for sure, because I already added some orange there, and that's exactly the right tinge that I want for that, because the headstock, the orange isn't orangey enough, and it'll kind of give it like that. It's kind of like putting silver, like when you're painting a car, painting a silver, and then have like whatever color, like the red, kind of a little bit diluted, and you paint over it with the red, and you'll get a nice candy apple finish. Yeah, well, first guitar I ever built, so it's been I mean, the worst part was finding a drill bit, and unfortunately, and in Canada, I don't know why this is the case, but I couldn't find a metric made drill bit, like in metric made sizes. Which is weird, because our official measurement system is metric. That doesn't make any sense. It's just it's whatever. It's But I did manage to get my drill bit. So, and at the last second, I decided to put the for the bridge, to give it that just a little bit of I already had my pilot holes made out. Well, okay, so I can find a drill bit that will say, 11.1 millimeters, or it'll say how many inches or quarters. Like, I don't know, Imperial has some pretty weird numbering, like 32/17 and whatever the fuck. I don't know what that means, but it sounds like I'm well educated in fractions when I say that, even though I don't know what it means. But yeah, but the drill bits are made in certain sizes. So when they come into a set, they're made in certain sizes to fit, like so Imperial made sizes are different. So they'll give you the metric equivalent, but they'll give you what the metric number is, but it's still an Imperial drill bit. Yes, exactly. They're not made to metric. Yes, exactly. They have the imperial, and then they have the metric and small. And I actually I should have live streamed the conversation I had with the person at Home Hardware, because I called and I said, well, I need a drill bit that's do you have a 12 millimeter drill bit? Well, they don't come in those sizes. I'm like, this is Canada, and they're just like, well, all we have is 3 inches and 2/4 and 2/4 and 5/5, and we got like 15ths and a 30 and 32, and like, okay, you got to speak English. This is Canada. Well, we don't have the drill bits don't come in metric. I said, come on, you got to be kidding. I said, it's law. It's we're metric country, and it was funny the way I went on about it. Yes, it was fucking funny as hell. It was funny as shit. And it's like, well, you know, we live in Canada. You gotta have the metric. Well, we don't have them listed in with the metric equation. Go to crappy tires, same thing. But then I went off into a far section because the one day, yeah, I wish my country would just officially adopt metric. Yeah, yeah. You're in the States, aren't you? Yeah. Well, one way you can tell if somebody's in Canada, Tim Hortons. Yeah, yeah. It's actually in 1968, the United States actually said they were going to go metric by 69. Yeah, well, the U.S. was supposed to go metric in 1969, but in 68, just when Canada was changing all the road signs and everything, the U.S. changed their mind at the last second, which was kind of stupid. It's it's just that's just what I would call bad business. And they say that if the United States hadn't agreed that they were going to go metric, Canada wouldn't have either. So it was just at the last minute, the U.S. changed their mind. It was yeah. So when does Hank get back? Yeah, I can't wait till he gets back. Be interested to hear how you know. Yeah, yeah. So right now I'm using 1500 grit sandpaper, and I'm just doing a very super light sanding just so that the coat will adhere to this. Like I know you all watching know all this, but there's going to be people when I upload this to YouTube, then like there might be new people that watch this and they just kind of want to you know because they want to build something, so it's kind of educational at the same time. So Yeah, I think I should add an orange tinge to the varnish for the final coat. It'll really bring out the color, and it's not going to be a whole lot. Like, it's going to be twice as light as that, and this is pine wood that I tested it on, so it's just going to be barely enough so it doesn't look like I did a shoddy job on the varnish or on the staining. It'll give it a nice blended look. I think I should get down to 3,000 grit, or up to 3,000 grit for this. I'm just looking at little areas that kind of are a little bit high. And checking where I see some runs. And I might be, and once in a while I'll be like switching between grits just because I might see a little bit of a bump that I need to kind of sand down a little bit because of running. But this last coat's going to be a really, really light coat. It's not going to be there. It's going to be a lot lighter than the previous two. The unfortunate part of this is I got to kind of hang it up to actually what I might do is I might do this in 2 steps just so I can have it laying down when I do the final coat. So I don't need to do the side. I don't think I'm going to do I don't need to do another final coat on the sides. That's perfectly fine. So it's just the back and the neck. So guess it'd be a lot easier if I could just varnish while it's laying flat. That way I don't get any running. I can probably sand it. Like, I could easily sand all that out. Nature light, what's that? Yeah. I've seen builders darken the shop and shine a light across the surface to really catch any inconsistency. It looks like you've got sun as your definitely, natural light. Natural light is always your best because you're never going to know what something looks like until you put it in natural light. I remember my boss used to say that all the time when I was just finishing something off and said, well, okay, well, it's done. And he goes, bring it outside, look at a natural light. Well, it's fucking freezing. It's like 40 below. And he goes, I don't care. Natural light is the best. And, and then one day when I thought I had something perfect, and I bring it out in the light, it was freezing, but the sun was shining. I bring the table out and I noticed all the imperfections. I said, okay, well, he's absolutely right. Yeah. Yeah, and it's good because the sun's just right over, like just to my left. That's what Gibson started doing. They installed, like after they filed for bankruptcy and they were under receivership of their creditors allowed them to stay open. Plus, they got more money. And one of the things the new manager did was install special lighting to emulate natural light. Because he said that people would come in, would be in the shop, and they would see, like, with all the lights and that they got on there, and say, like, how the hell could they have missed that? And it's just like, well, yeah, it's natural light. So yeah, I think I'm gonna do it this way, the other way. It's better to do something in 2 steps and get it perfect than it is to take any risk. Like, I'm at the point right now where everything I do has to be more and more precise. And the last thing I want to do is go into a studio. If somebody, if I get hired as a studio consultant by somebody, and they say, and I show up with a guitar, and it's like, it's got fucking, it don't matter what it sounds like. People will just, it's like getting paid $2,000 to do a 45-minute set, and you're playing an Lex Pro. It might not be a bad sounding guitar, but when you're a professional, they expect you to come up to have like an Epiphone or a Guild Gretsch or something, like a really, really good quality instrument, something that's known to be good quality, not something that's known for being cheap. Too, if you have sponsors when you're doing a show, that's another thing. Your sponsor might see somebody with a guitar that's not really known and say, well, what was a neat idea? I know the Yeah, oh yeah, that is a good idea with foot switching and that. Yeah, that actually that would be a good idea. Well, time to bring out the 3000 grit. Oh yeah, this stuff is the shit. And this is the stuff to be using. Yeah, fuck, I got all these fucking bumps. Got some runs in here just because of hang drying it. That's why I'm definitely gonna do it in steps. I'm gonna yeah, I'll do it in steps this time because I don't want to have to deal with these runs. I mean, at this stage right now, I can, but I can deal with them, but when I yeah, so tomorrow, so today I'm gonna do the top, and then tomorrow, what I need to do is I'm gonna put tape around the edges, um, tape around the edge, and yeah, because I don't need to do the edges anymore. The edges are pretty good, or you know, so I'm gonna tape around the edges and leave that like I did with the fretboard. Took some ideas from Manny. Manny would be proud. I just need to use a clothespin or something. I'll figure something out to use a clothespin. Because if that's a tool that's a tool of the trade, well, I'm going to use that tool too. So I just, yeah. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to tape around the edges, and I don't need to do the edges anymore. And so today I'm going to do the top and tomorrow the bottom. Yeah, I think that's the absolute best idea. But I'm going to get rid of the bumps and runs on both sides today, just so that I have that taken care of. So I don't. So when I come in tomorrow, I can just walk in and do the job. I'll make it as easy on myself as I possibly can. So how's your guitar coming along? Oh, so you're modifying a factory instrument. Okay. Oh yeah, drill bits are. It's funny because with guitars, all the hardware in electronics is all metric sizing. So if you're going to be drilling a hole into the body of your guitar for posts, an 11 millimeter drill bit is what you need. It can be, or I should say, 12 millimeter. It can be, an 11 will be really tight. 12 is the perfect, uh, and you can get away with using an 11.5. And that's for the bridge posts and tailpiece. Bridge posts and tailpiece are generally the same size holes. For the drill bit I used, it cost me $22 fucking just for one drill bit. It was expensive. Amazon too. Not only would I have to spend about $20 on Amazon, but I would have to wait a week, which is. And yet, and get this, so a 12 millimeter drill bit, $22. I can get a 13 mil for $9. Okay, so just let me see. Okay, so okay, about to start minor. I need a left hand fluted extractors. Got a couple bum screws that are too close. Into risk cutting the angle again. Grinder can't get pliers on him. I need to take apart an 88 Kramer and figure out what the guy that put the Floyd 2 on did with the bridge posts. They won't turn. Yeah, it's when you're getting something that somebody else did something with, the first question that goes that comes to mind is, what the fuck did they screw up? Like what kind of stupid move? It's because sometimes you could be buying somebody else's problem, and that's why, like, if I'm gonna buy a used guitar, I'm going to. I'll ask the question, like, did you modify it? And if you modified it, what did you do? And tell me exactly what you did, what you used. I want a full description, because if I do any work on it, I want to know what you did. That way I can just do what I need to do. or if whether or not it's going to be worth fixing somebody else's mistakes. When I worked in the construction, we ran into that problem all the time. You get some fucking meatheads, you know, and they figure, you know, they own a house, so they figure, you know, they're not gonna pay a professional to come in, do the drywall or do any of the renovations. They're just gonna do it all themselves. You walk in and you figure it's gonna be easy job. You just might have to cut a square here, a square there, you know, sand it down. Oh no. Walk in and you're just like gonna cut that little section and the you can't cut through. And you're wondering what the fuck here, and then you bang on it. It's like that don't sound like drywall. You fucking find out that there was a fucking metal plate put there. You know, I'd fucking seen it all. Like fucking take a fucking metal plate or whatever. You know, it's just yeah, it's. Or if it was, you know, sometimes the new buyers, they buy a house, you know, they don't know what happened, and then they call us in to do some renovations for them, and it's just like, well, they did this, they did that, and it's like, it's going to cost a bit more money. Yeah, that's probably what he did. He just fucking glued them in and said, okay, well, the hole's too big for these posts, so now I'll just get out the crazy glue and. I mean, it is a solution, but you know, it solves the problem, but you know. I bought a Jackson guitar. First guitar I ever owned with the whammy bar in it, and I don't. And not that I would use the whammy, that I was going to use the whammy bar, but I just figured, you know, I keep it just because it looks fucking cool. Playing it. You know, I never used the whammy bar, and so I just figured, well, you know, let me just give it a try and just see what it does. And I pull it, and the whole fucking bridge fucking snaps forward. You know what the fucker did? I guess I don't know. Maybe he lost the screws or something and just glued it in there, figuring he was never gonna use it. And you know, sells the guitar, and you know, so I play it, and it's just like, you know, I'm gonna try it, see what it, and just boom, like fucking idiot. And then not only that, but the when I took the cover cover off and looking at the whole thing, it's just like he he fucking wired the fucking springs too for the whammy bar strings. He wired them together with some type of fucking wire or something. And he's just like, you know. Like, who does that? Who fucking just, misplaces the screw? I'm guessing that's what happened. Uh, whatever, and just says, well, I'll just crazy glue it. It'll hold. I'm never gonna use the whammy bar, and then decides they're gonna fucking sell it, and it's like, fuck. And that's one of the things I said when I did buy the guitar. It's like, yeah, I'm not really interested. I don't really care about the whammy bar. So, because he said he didn't have the metal thing, and I said, don't worry about it. I'm not really gonna use it. And then, I get the guitar home, and I see I see the little bar where in the little compartment where you put your picks and strings and that, and I think, okay, well, whatever. Not that I'm gonna use, but figure, let me give it a try, see what it's gonna sound like. What would be cool though, if I was doing a show and that happened, that'd be fucking cool. That'd be epic. It's just like, wow, poing. It's like, cool. I mean, dude, that would be a good fucking stage antic. You know. But then, like, if you're gonna do something like that, you know that you're setting the guitar up to do that. As part of the show, and it's just like when Kiss used to smash their guitars. They didn't they just didn't get a new guitar and just start hacking away on the stage with it. They actually put cuts and drill holes in certain areas so when it did smash, they wouldn't have pieces flying off in somebody's head. They had it so when they hit it on the ground, it would break. It's yeah. Oh no, that I actually laughed when that happened. I really did. I got a good laugh. I just like, holy point. It's like, cool. But of course I was, after I had my laugh, I was pissed off because I didn't have a guitar anymore. Hmm. Yeah, introduced the yeah. Yeah, yeah. I actually might actually actually I might. Nah, I don't use. Yeah, I don't use guitars with. It would just kind of ruin my style actually, and I wouldn't want to. I don't care how bad the guitar is. I have too much respect for an instrument to e- 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 even if it's a cheap Indo or something you can get off, you know, Amazon. I still have too much respect for instruments to actually do something like that. Now, it's break rigging strings to break, you know, uh, but for me to do something as part of a show, it would have to it would have to be related to if I was going to do like any antics I do performing, it has to kind of match the song that I'm playing. So, so breaking it, setting the string up to break, it's just like she's got me under so much pressure. She's a breaking my heart like a string, and then snap. That would be that would be ideal. I mean, like something like that would, you know, or you know, using a scotch bottle for a slide and just whatever. It's just like, pretending I'm playing that song. I ain't drunk just before I'm gonna play something that I need a slide with, and and just pretend I'm drinking a bottle of scotch, but it's actually water, and I'm just like, I ain't drunk. I just been drinking. Sorry, I gotta get this. Um, just all right. Yeah, yeah. Hello. Hey, how are you? Who's this? Oh, yeah. Hey, I'm kind of. Just hold on a second. All right, sorry about that. I just got back, so yeah. I had to take that. Oh, sorry, I had to take that phone call. Sorry about that. Business, that's one of the unfortunate things about life. I wish I could just build guitars all day. I might give up my day job and do that. Play music and build guitars. Yeah, I think I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do this in two separate steps. I'm gonna do the top part today, and then come back tomorrow. Once this is dried, turn it, and then I will, and then I'll do the other side. I think that's the best route to go, because I can't have risk getting any runs on top of the body at this point in time, because it's gonna be with the final coat. It's just. See, do I got any more runs that I need to take care of? No, I got one right there. All right. Yeah, that's the good thing about the natural light. I can see all these. I can see all that. You gotta. Yeah, yeah, wood smells good. All right. Yeah. But I will do my sanding today, though. That way I don't have to do it tomorrow. The more sanding I do today, the less I do tomorrow. Oh wow, there's quite a bit of running there. Yeah, there's quite a bit of running here from. Yeah, no worries. Life happens. Yeah, life does happen. Yeah, look at that grain. Look at how that grain has just come out. Like that's beautiful. That is just. I can't figure out when they do put these bodies together, why do they put the most beautiful part on the back as opposed to the front? You'd think they'd want to put it on the front because that would be like if I was building, that would be on the front, not the back. And actually, a nice orange tinge added to the varnish with an orange tinge. That red, because it's going to be a lot lighter of a color, the lighter parts of the grain are going to pull out and they're going to have a nice tinge to them, and the dark is just going to be darker. It's going to fucking look good, man. Fuck. That's okay, so I gotta run there, then I gotta fix. Run there. I wonder why most luthiers prefer to use the Danish oil as opposed to a varnish. I know the varnish is a lot harder to put on, and that could be the reason, but it's definitely like Manny uses the Danish oil all the time. And his guitars turn out looking pretty nice, actually, really nice looking. But too, he's using woods that with wood grain patterns that are just like absolutely stunning. Like that Les Paul he's working on, holy fuck, man! I was too bad that guitar wasn't a giveaway, because if it was, man, I'd spend all my wallies just to try to win it. Oh, that's wow. In some ways, now looking at the back, I kind of wish that I did the same coloring on the back, on the front, as I did the back, but I kind of wanted to go with almost like a a fireburst look, so, or a sunburst look. So that was kind of, but looking at this, I kind of wish I hadn't have. Yeah. Let's see, do I got any more areas that are right there? Not much there in the way. I'm doing all the tedious part of the sanding first, and then I'm going to get to the really light sanding. I like to do the most difficult part first and get that taken care of. That way I can enjoy what I'm doing. And that's a major part of building anything. You know, you have to kind of have that love put in it. Because if you're not putting the love into it, you know, no matter, you can put the best parts in the guitar you want, but if you ain't putting that love in there, it's gonna pick up that energy, and it'll never play. You know, like it just won't play right. You know, it's but everybody believes different. I'm a pagan, so we have our own ideas when it comes to stuff like that. You know, whatever energy you put into something, you're going to get out of it. There was a time when musicians had to make their own instruments. All right, so let's look at the side. Now I'm going to be right back. I'm taking her out in the sun, get some sunlight on her. All right, all the high points have been taken care of. Now it's just a matter of pulling out the really fine sandpaper, and that's 800. I need something more. That's 1200, and that's what I'm going with right now. So I'm using 1200 grit now, and I'm going to smooth. Probably wondering why I'm not using a sanding block. Reason for it is I want to feel as much of the guitar as I can. I more or less go by feel when I'm doing things, especially when it comes to really fine work. You know, there's two ways you go about something. You know, like for me, handmade means that there's more of the work's done by hand than using a machine. Just wouldn't feel right putting having a sanding block. And two, this body, it's all curved, so makes a lot of noise. I'm also a mainstream religion. Oh, I'm also what main. Oh, cool, pagan, cool. That's good. What part of your what type of facet of paganism are you? Because pagan just means the non-traditional path. Uh, you know, so it's. Looks like it's gonna start pissing soon. Into the fun journey that I created my own path, rather than one pioneered by ancestors. Okay, so kind of so native spiritualism, shamanism. Yeah, it's the best path that anybody can follow is the path that they choose. Yeah, there's you know not every path is right for some. And some people because the path that we choose in life is the path that fulfills our needs. If it's not fulfilling your needs, then you kind of there have been so many people that have sought getting into paganism that I get talking with them and I start teaching them some things, and then after about 6 months, it's a question of whether or not to continue on the path, if that's the right path. And I've had people that they were ask different questions, and after the questions I've asked, it's just like determined, well, maybe this isn't the path for you. Maybe you might want to try this as opposed to that. And it's like, well, I had a friend that, good friend of mine that was interested in the pagan path, and after about 6 months, it was, like, this isn't really, I don't think this is the path for you. Like, you may be interested in it, but it doesn't fulfill your needs. And I suggested him to, I suggested a Catholic priest and said, I got a friend who's a Catholic priest, talk to him and see what he has to say. And he'll tell you, because I think he might have more to offer you. And he became a Catholic, and it's just, I'm glad I'm helped him on his path. Unfortunately, because I lost a friend, but the friend found his path, so that was worth, he said, well, I can't associate with you because of the stuff that you do, because it's not compatible. I said, well, you know what? I'm just happy that the universe gave me the privilege and the honor to help you find the path that was right for you. I mean, we still talk, but, it's... Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I got a Bachelor of Theology, Master's in Divinity in World Religions, Cultures, and Societies, and ancient, and a Bachelor in Ancient Religions, and study. Well, I had to learn all that stuff because in order to be a priest in my path, you have to. There's a lot of not just theological things you have to learn, but there's also academic. You have to, like, one of them is you have to understand archaeology. You have to have a understand of ancient world history, not just religions, but actual, history. But with my path, we're more about living your life and enjoying your life. Enjoy what you do what you enjoy, and that's all. That's the most important part of anybody's spiritual journey. If you're not truly happy in what you're doing and what you're practicing, you haven't found your path in life. It's me. I love sitting. Nothing's better than sitting out on the porch, and in the morning drinking my coffee and watching the squirrels, the birds, and all the cute little natural things. And to me, that's what's enjoying life. Making music. I couldn't live without music. And so those are things that are more important than anyone's spiritual persuasion. Spiritual persuasion is just kind of like putting the icing on the cake. If it's not, if it's not a happy cake, the icing might sweeten it, but you know, it's just. Yeah, definitely. Academics are a very, very important thing, and especially if if you're going to be in a leadership position, you should have, you know, you shouldn't just know what one thing teaches you. You should have a broad knowledge. You know, you know, because you can't, you know, like you can't teach somebody something if you got a closed mind, because you know, and if you don't know your history, because if you don't know your history, then you don't know what what you're professing to know as well as you think you do. You know, problem is certain paths and religions try to get people, discourage people from learning the academics, because if people learned the truth and learned the true history, uh, they 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 would find what they're learning, what they're being taught is inaccurate. You know, and you know it's some people can't handle that. It's just like going to a kid and a 3-year-old kid just before Christmas, and telling the kid all about the truth about Santa Claus. What's going to happen? Not everybody's at the maturity level where they can accept that kind of thing. But if you want to be a leader, you have to have that maturity level where you're going to accept the truth and accept the facts, whether or not it goes against what you were taught. And because you can always change the rules. You can always make a change and say this is what I'm about, and you can start your own facet and say, but you know, it's just. I think it's okay. So this is 1200. I think I'm going to Well, I'm going to do the back too, so I might as well stick to the 1200 part. And that way tomorrow when I come back to varnish the back, this shit's already done. Yeah, those abrasions are really coming out with this gauge sandpaper. Another thing you gotta watch when you're doing something by hand is sometimes these little corners can get in there, and that's why you gotta. So whenever you hear a sound you don't like, that doesn't sound right, it means you gotta bend the sandpaper a bit. Right now I'm just sanding out the darker parts. Kind of almost like a mini buff, because those darker grayish color parts, those are scratches from the sandpaper. So I know the scratches will come out on the next coat of varnish, but I'm not a big fan of, I would rather go through the work now and sand that all out, and then, you know, it's not a matter of trying to get it done as quickly as I can and cutting corners. I mean, it'd be nice to be able to put a coat of, to put the last coat on right now, but, you know, too, I'm considering getting in to start building when I'm going to do a Telecaster, and when I'm done that, I may build one that I'll put up for sale to see if I can sell. And if people see me cutting corners and, you know, whatever, then, you know. And two, when somebody's making something for themselves, if they're not putting as much effort into it as they possibly can, then just think of how much effort they're going to put in for somebody else. It's I know I see Hank when he's doing his guitars. It's funny because it's watching, and he has the camera above, so you don't always see him sanding. It just looks like he's just sitting there chatting with people. What I need to do is I got to get an apron. Maybe the lady across the street might have an apron I can buy off her. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna get an apron. I don't have work. Well, my work clothes are like, you know, kind of dressed to the nine. So nope, it's pissing outside. Well, that's good though. It's good that it's raining. Yeah. And this is the kind of work that I enjoy doing. Anything that involves being artistic is. I could never get into a business building guitars where I have to make every guitar look exactly the same. I would fucking hate that. That's why when I was a kid doing carpentry work, I was lucky to have worked for a business that did all custom made furnishings. A lot of the people we made tables and shit like that for had more money than what they knew what to do with. I mean, some of these people came in with some pretty unusual demands, sometimes unreasonable. I know we can't powder paint. We can't get varnish and powder it and actually put real gold in it. Yeah, not that unreasonable, but you get the idea. Yeah, wow. That's done. Now I can do the back. Alright. The back isn't going to take as long. Yeah. Now, all I got to do now is I'm going to the next sandpaper, and this, what I'm using is 3000. Oh, hell yeah, this is definitely buffing sandpaper. I wanted to keep watching B. Bumstead today because he's working on a Tele style guitar. He does nice work too. was using steel wool, I would have all this smoothed out by now. But all the luthiers use sandpaper, so, and because it, steel wool, the shreddings now get into the guitar, so the electronics and that, you don't want that. So this is kind of a learning curve for me. When it comes to so like with steel wool, I'd know exactly what grade of steel wool to use and everything. You know, so this is a good thing that I'm learning something. Learning a new way, different way of doing something, and getting that experience. It makes doing this stuff good, more interesting, because everybody has different. People have different methods of doing things, and you know. Oh yeah. Get it on that natural light. Yeah. In the neck. I don't think I'm gonna need to do any more coats on the neck. I think the neck is fine. It feels good. So really, all I'm gonna really need to do is the headstock. Just the top part of the headstock and the body. Maybe I should do a mock-up before I and take a picture so people can kind of get an idea of what it's gonna really look like. Well, my natural light went away, but we do definitely need the rain, which is good. I love the rain, actually. I'm just I'm just sanding out some of these little scratches. Get as much as those out as I possibly can get. Because then it's less work for the varnish when I go to put the last coat on. Oh yeah, the neck's definitely doesn't need any more work done on it. It's just the headstock. That needs more orange. Yeah, I'm just gonna do the headstock, and she's gonna be done. Yeah. Yeah. Just around the body, or I should say the edge. Oh, that's gonna look sweet when I get to the buffing. There's a nice little darker kind of like there of the grain, and it's just looking fucking. It just from I don't know if you can see that on the screen, but from here, it's beautiful. And to think some people would paint these things like like painting over. I could never do that. All right. more look. Yeah, I may just put another coat on the neck too tomorrow. Yeah, I will. All right, so now I'm gonna have to wipe it down with a damp cloth. All right. Now just dry it. And take my tape. shortcut in this part. That would be perfect. So right now, if you can't see, I'm taping around the edge of the guitar, and that way I don't get any runoff. If I get any runoff, it won't get on the so the bleeding doesn't, so it doesn't bleed into the side where, you know. And start to go twisty like that. Doesn't want to cooperate. Time to break it off. So here we go. Right to the Alright, so that part of it's done. Let's go to the side. Connect here. Because I'm not hanging that up today, I don't have to, I can cut that twist tie off. No, if I don't know what I'm doing, at least I look like I know what I'm doing. I want to take a few pictures of it. Before. No, I was going to do a mock-up. Yeah, oh well. Too late for that shit now. I gotta. Alright, there we go. So that part of it's done. Now, I can get to the difficult task of varnishing. But the first part that I've got to do here is so put everything away that I don't need. Rule number one, whenever you're always keep your work area clean. A clean work area is a happy work area. Alright, so now time to go to this. So now I'm going to do the darker orange part. Oh, and one spot I forgot tape off. I think I caught that before I did it. I should take my pictures now. Alright, so took all the pictures. I'll make everybody happy that doesn't watch Twitch or YouTube. And a lot of people that don't actually, you'd be surprised at how many people don't watch. You know, some people just prefer a picture as opposed to. Alright, so that's just make sure. Nice even coat. One spot that I didn't. Here, make sure. Alright. Alright, now time to mix them. Oh. Time to mix this with this. It's that way I can get a bit of a lighter. It'll make the orange tinge even just a little bit lighter than what it is now. Well, actually a lot lighter, and it will still add to the beauty of the guitar. So. Didn't quite mix a little bit. match. Alright, now we got that part there. Looks good. Runs, I hope. So it's always good to go one way and the other. A little bit more, and then I shall be done. I'm just gonna do one more pass over with this. A little bit lighter. Just kind of, just one last pass over. One more time. I don't know if it's just me being picky or not, but Alright, that's the whole guitar done. Backwards and frontwards and forwards and backwards. I think any more and it'd be just me being picky. Alright, so now time to wash my brushes. That was hard work. So yeah, that should definitely give me the glossy finish that I'm looking for. And then next business is doing the back part. I think this was the best decision here, doing it this way for yeah, it's better doing it this way. And then, because if you hang it, everything's gonna drip. Oh, what the fuck is that? Everything will just fucking drip, and you don't want that. You don't want that dripping, and yeah. So it's just about time for me to say goodbye. To mosey on my way, as they say. Brush up in here. So part of the thing is always keep your work area clean. Don't have anything in there that you're not going to be using. Always put your shit away. Clean up's the part that I hate doing. Yeah. Well, sometimes though that can work against you, where you just overthink and pick, and then you end up nitpicking so much that you just end up making a mess. And I've done that. It's at some point in time you have to be satisfied with what you got, and I say it ain't gonna get any better. That's the best I can do, and I think that's the difference between somebody with a professional attitude and somebody with an amateur. I think the amateur is just like and I just don't know when it's gonna, you know. But too, being professional is also not being satisfied. You know, if you know you can do better, then do better. But if it gets to the point where you're just nitpicking, it's just we run into that problem with in the studio when we're doing a song. It's just it comes to a point where it's just like, you know what, we got to be satisfied with what we have right now. You know, like everything is good. You know, if we keep going at it, you know, we're just going to end up being dogs chasing its tail. And you don't want to be a dog chasing your tail. So that pine turns, that orange tinge kind of is a nice tinge. And that's going to be such a minute light tinge on the orange on the guitar and the red. It's just going to it's going to really make it look fireballish. So, and that's the look we're going for. Alright, so that's all garbage here. That's trash. That's trash. Yeah, so anyway, that ends the stream. Yeah, I'll be back again tomorrow, and I'll be doing the third coat on the back. And the neck, I don't think I'm really going to need to do a third coat on the neck, because the neck is pretty smooth and it's pretty good. So that's just, yeah. So I guess we're done. Thank you very much for watching. Please like, share, subscribe to all your friends. This is Mr. Blackstone. Sign out saying hail fucking Satan and hail Amen Ra. Please like, share, subscribe to all your friends. And for all YouTube watchers that will be watching this, thank you very much for watching. And yeah. So take care. Yep, next time.